Hello everybody. I apologize to a couple of my friends as I did not reach out and say I'm going live. For those of you that may not know who I am, my name is Dorina Silvas, and hi Kelly. Tonight's live is going to be a little different than most. I'm going to admit to you, I am not looking forward to this. Hey Jenny, hey Jessica. You guys look at my crazy hair. This is what my hair looks like if I don't do nothing to it. Hello Allie Taylor. So I'm going to be honest with you guys, this is not one I'm looking forward to. And it's crazy because it didn't dawn on me until about August that I even had a story to tell. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of you can probably relate in that, you know, in the business that I'm in, they always tell us, like, well, tell your story. Tell your story. And I'm like, well, I don't really have a story. Like, we need a cuter, like, messiness. We need, like, cute messy. This is like a hot mess, but cute. I don't know. It's not that cute, but okay. I'm, like, extremely nervous, and I do not get nervous on lives. Hey, Ember. Okay, so, the business that I'm in is super personal, right? Like, I mean, where, you know, you may think, oh, it's makeup. That's not really personal. You guys, you put it on your face. There isn't anything more personal than something you put on your face. That's pretty personal to me. Thank you so much. So usually my lives are full of happiness and funniness and, you know, just entertainment. Like, we have a good time on here, I feel. And I'm not saying that that's not what tonight's is going to be, because I didn't really prepare anything, but I know my story. And one night, back in August, we were actually at a convention, and we were drinking quite a lot. And my story kind of came out. It kind of came out. It surprised me a little bit because I didn't realize, I didn't realize that I had one. Oh, this one. That's my little whatever it's called. What is that? What's that cute little kid's name? Anyway, okay. So, here's the thing, you guys, is that we all have a story, right? And what I do is super, super, super personal. It may not feel that way, but I honestly feel like I have the best job in the world, and I get to help women feel like when I get to sit down with somebody, usually they come to me and they're like a little stressed, or, you know, maybe they just don't feel the way they want to feel, right? And when we leave a conversation or in-person consultation or whatever, usually they feel a lot better. And it's just because I've helped them. It's not that they need makeup. They don't need makeup. Go downstairs.
I'm getting my headphones.
Okay, hurry. It's not that they need makeup, okay? Because nobody needs makeup. I'm going to be 100% with you. Like, boom, this is not the bombshell. It's going to get a little thick here in a second, but it's something that, like, when you put it on, like, you'll notice at the beginning of this, I put on a lipstick. Why? I don't need it. I like it. It's like a sense of security for me. So, I never quite, it took me a long time to figure out why I love this job, why I love what I do, and I have a story to tell. So, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. I am not going to be able to do this and answer questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn everything off so that I can't tell who's on here, because I can already tell you. I know a lot of you I grew up with, so I cannot see comments. If anybody comments, like, just let people know I can't see them. I will swipe back at the end, but I want to try and maintain composure, because there's some of it that turn emotions on, okay? So I'll go ahead and go way back. This is welcome to the story. This one is mine. So I'm going to be honest with you. I grew up very, very lucky. My parents love each other. They love each other. They're amazing to each other. They're super great role models to have. I can do this. I'm going to. I'm very, very, very lucky to have the parents that I have. I know that there's so many people out there that have parents that either don't love each other or aren't the best to them. My parents are the best. Like, I'm very lucky, okay? But there is some stuff, and it has nothing to do with my parents, but there was some stuff in my childhood that wasn't great. A lot of you went to school with me. You know, I went to school, a lot of, you know, and we're all friends now, right? You know, like growing up, like there's stuff. Anyway, so, I grew up on a dairy. I'm not like an animal person. I grew up on a dairy. I grew up with two parents who worked ridiculously hard all the time to put food on the table. And we didn't always have a lot of money. In fact, I mean, anybody who's been in that type of business knows that it can get really hard sometimes. And my parents did everything. And the reason that they did that, even when the money, like when the money was good, it was good, you know, but when it wasn't, it was really hard. And they worked. I mean, my mom worked every single day. My dad worked every single day. They didn't get a day off. They didn't get a vacation. They didn't complain. They didn't really ask even us to do. I mean, like we had chores and stuff, but we didn't have to do a lot of stuff around the house, which blows my mind because I like make my kids do everything. I make them do. And I had chores. Don't get me wrong. Like I told my husband, we are having kids, so I don't have to wash the dishes. But okay. So my parents worked really hard, and there were times where money was just really tight, okay? And again, I grew up on a dairy, so there's cows, there's animals, there's all kinds of things going on, okay? Both of them smoked growing up, and so I would go to school, and sometimes I would get picked on. I would get picked on a lot, because... I mean, even going back, like it was hard for me to make friends, which I know to some of you may seem strange, because I'm so social on here. And I feel like now, like I make friends pretty easily. But I didn't make friends growing up. I was always kind of an outsider, kind of a weird, you know what I mean? Like I always felt like I was like trying to find somebody to just hang out with me. Some of it probably is I never shut up. But, you know, kind of fast forward into, you know, like, I remember in 6th grade, there's a person in my life, they're actually like a relative of a relative, and I remember we were in 6th grade together, and every morning I would walk in, and they would ask me, Dorena, how long did it take you to do your hair? And I was like, oh, like they care, you know, they were kind of the popular, you know, she was part of the popular girls, but she would tell me, Dorena, how long did it take you to do your hair today? And I would be flattered that she asked me, how long did it take you to do that? And I would be like, oh, only 5 minutes. Only a couple minutes. You guys, for months, she was making fun of me. They were talking about me and picking on me, and like it was bad. And like everything's good now, don't get me wrong, like everything's good, but growing up it was very difficult. Because I always saw her. It wasn't just at school, but I saw her other places too. And she wasn't very nice to me, but she would be nice around everybody else. Okay? But I remember thinking, gosh, like she wants to know like how I did my hair today. I had no clue what I was doing. I mean, I was in like, I want to say it was like 6th grade. And then behind my back, they would laugh. And there were times that I would go out on the playground and nobody would play with me. So I was all by myself. And so that was hard, you know what I mean? Like it was hard. And I remember like the school bus, there were a lot of people on there that were mean. Kids are just jerks. They're just jerks. But I had people pick on me. I had older kids. Like one time, this was like in 8th grade, I think it was. I don't remember. It had to have been like 7th, 8th grade, something like that. I had a girl picking on me on the school bus. There was actually 2 girls, but one of them, and luckily I had a super overprotective aunt, who's pretty much my age. So one time, one of the girls, and she was a popular girl, we later became friends, we're friends now, but she was super mean to me all the time on the bus, and I would come home and I would cry because she would make fun of me or not have the girls sit with me, or, you know, I'm sure like, you know, I lived on a dairy, you know what I mean? So I didn't like always have like, you know, sometimes my clothes were not as clean as they could have been, or they didn't match. I didn't have like, you know, the $55 sweater, that type of thing. But she was really mean to me, and my aunt found out about it. And my aunt had no problem protecting me. And I will tell you that ever since then, like, she was nice to me. There was another incident too where a girl on my bus legit drove up on the sidewalk and tried to run me over with her car because she didn't like me. My aunt took care of that too. So I was very lucky to have my aunt. My aunt would like give me clothes and stuff like that. But I just, like, there were so many times, guys, when I was like in 8th grade, I remember I had a good friend, and we had gotten into like a fight over something silly. And all my friends stopped talking to me in 8th grade. And I remember not having anybody to talk to, and nobody would want to sit with me, you know, and that's like a weird time in your life anyway. And I remember I used to go into the library every day. I would get my lunch and I would eat it really, really, really fast. And I would go into the library, and I would get on the computer and I would email my aunt. And she would talk to me the whole time. And I miss her so much. But this would go on for months. There was just, people were mean, you know what I mean? And I know that this happens. I know that bullying happens and it's awful. But I was like so alone. And sorry, I know it's probably hard to like hear me, but I was so alone, and my aunt would be there every day, and she would message me, and I didn't tell my mom, and I didn't tell anybody, but my aunt knew. To an extent, she didn't know the whole thing, but she would email back with me every day during lunch. It was like the most loved and alone time I've ever felt. And I told my mom that the girls were being really mean to me. And my parents, luckily we lived on like a break in the line. So I could choose to go to East Minico or West Minico. And so in 8th grade, I decided after 8th grade to leave and go to West Minico for 9th because I didn't have any friends at East Minico. And I went, and it was so much better, guys. It was so much better. I don't know if it was just like another year older or getting in with kids that I didn't know, but it did get better. It did get better, but I mean, I spent probably, I remember like being in 2nd grade, and a friend of mine, and we're friends now, they let me play with them. And one day she came to me and she said, when you started playing with us, we didn't really like you. But our moms told us we had to be nice to you because you were weird. But now we kind of like you. We think you're fun. And I just remember being like, thanks. Like, I didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? And I know I was young, okay? But it was something, I mean, I struggled with. And it, like, the bus was just, there were days, you guys, where the bus was just awful. The kids were awful, 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 so mean. And they would knock books out of my hands. They were mean to my brother. I remember having to, like, stand up for my brother one time. And I was so scared because I don't like confrontation, if anybody knows me. I don't like confrontation. And I remember this kid was being so mean to my brother. And I didn't even like the kid myself growing up. He is like one of my besties now, but I didn't like him, but that's me to be mean to him. But I remember I was shaking and I stood up and I shoved this kid who was twice my size, and I told him, don't you ever touch him again. Don't you ever talk about him. And I just remember being so mad and like tears rolling down my face, because that's how I deal with anger, as I cry. So I remember though, like, I mean, it was hard, you guys. Like, I remember thinking, I wonder if, shut the door. No, okay, go. Sorry. But I remember there being times where, like, I never wanted to commit. I wasn't ever suicidal. I was not ever suicidal. I never wanted to, like, leave this earth. But I remember thinking, gosh, if I got really, really hurt, if I got really hurt, I bet you they would care about me. If I got into a car accident, and I mean, this went into like, I don't know, baby, where it's at. But anyway, so, I mean, it went into high school. Like, I remember thinking that way too when, like, my husband and I, we have been together since I was 15 years old, and I remember if we would get into a fight, I would think, gosh, if I got really, really hurt, I bet he would talk to me, or I bet he would, you know, and he's amazing. Like, I'm very, very lucky, but those started when I was young. Like, if I got really, really hurt, then they would probably come to the hospital to see if I'm okay. And I remember thinking, like, and it was like silly stuff. Like I said, I wasn't ever suicidal, but I always thought, like, gosh, if I drank this bleach, like, what if I was like, oh, I didn't know it was bleach, and then I would have to go to the hospital, and then people would, like, want to talk to me, like, want to care, you know what I mean? And my parents were always there. Like, it is something that, like, they had no idea about a lot of it. And I remember, like, I have cousins who, like, my cousins are all amazing. And I had a couple of them, I remember I always used to think, like, gosh, like, they would go back to school shopping, and their mom would go and buy them thousands of dollars of new school clothes. And I was so jealous, you guys. I was so jealous. And my mom and dad did the best they could. Like, we had new clothes for school. We had all that stuff. But the kids would always make fun of me because, like, I only, you know, I had, like, you know, like 3 or 4 pairs of pants and a couple of shirts. You know, like, I always had, like, clothes. Don't get me wrong, I had clothes. But it wasn't the $55 Tommy Hilfiger shirt, you know. It was, you know, a good shirt from JCPenney's. There was nothing wrong with it. Like, I look at it now and I'm like, God, like, I can't even believe it was that big of a deal to me. And I remember I would, like, count the clothes in my closet. Because and I know that that's where some of my material, I'm a very materialistic person. And that's how I'm like, okay, like, I've made it, like, things are good, you know. And, anyway, so I will say, like, through this whole time, like, I had parents who loved me, I had family who loved me, I had, you know, but the kids at school were so mean, you guys. They were so mean. And I remember just crying myself to sleep all the time. And I remember, like, there being a boy that I liked, and somebody mentioned to him that I liked him, and he started laughing. He laughed, and I could hear him. And it was just like, I remember calling my mom, because I had my own phone line. And I remember calling her and, like, asking her a question, and I had been crying, and she knew it. And she was sitting in the other room, and we sat and talked on the phone for, like, 20 to 30 minutes because she knew that I was, like, having a hard time. That was, like, in 8th grade, but so I'll be honest with you guys. I didn't know I had a story. I didn't know, like, I am with a company who deals with women who were sexually abused as kids. I am lucky enough that that did not happen to me. That did not happen to me. That wasn't my story. And so for the longest time, I'm like, I just don't, you know, I'm a happy girl. Like, I have an amazing husband and 3 healthy kids and parents who are together and love me, and my in-laws are together and they love me. And it actually took, like, a lot of liquid, you know, I mean, I actually sat up one night really, really late, and I didn't even know that I still had this, like, such anger and hesitate, like, so much anger for these, you know, these people or this person who was mean to me. Like, I just, you know, asking me how long it took me to do my hair. And then they sat and laughed at me, and they were mean to me, and they would, you know, I remember we were supposed to go on a field trip one time, and we were going skiing. I'd never been skiing. And my cousin was going to bring me the snow gear because I didn't have any. And they forgot it or didn't have one that fit or something. And I remember being so embarrassed. You guys, it was in 5th grade. And I remember being so embarrassed because I had a coat. And I had, there's my grandma. I had a coat. And they had a pair of pants, you guys. And because I didn't have anything, the teacher was, like, trying. And, oh no, okay, so a girl was supposed to bring me pants, and she purposely didn't bring me any because she didn't like me. And so the teacher had to use hairspray and spray hairspray all over my pants so that I could go skiing. So here I was up at Pomerelle, and I had no idea what I was doing, and you know, this girl told me she was going to bring me stuff and then didn't bring it because she didn't like me. And I was wearing regular jeans that they had put hairspray all over in front of the whole class because I didn't have gear, and it was just awful. And then kids made fun of me for that too. So anyway, I am very lucky in this life. I'm very, very lucky. I know that. Like I said, none of this is anything bad for my parents. It's just I was bullied for years and years and years and years, and I didn't tell anybody. My aunt knew to an extent. My aunt knew that and she did everything to help me, and she's not here anymore, and that's why I get so sad, because she was my aunt, but she was a friend to me, and for months she was the only friend I had. She never told, you know, I mean, it wasn't that it was bad. She didn't know how bad it was, but I don't think she ever told my mom that, hey, Doreen's emailing me every day because she doesn't have any friends, and that girls are mean to her. It was, I mean, they would make fun. It was bad. It was bad in 8th grade. And anyway, so, like, we went to 9th grade, and then that got better, right? Went to a new school. Things were good. Went to high school, things got so much better. So much better. Like, junior high, you guys, if you have kids in junior high, ask them questions. Like, everybody in junior high is a jerk. Like, you just are. It's the age. It's the worst. I would not go back to junior high for $5 million. No way. But I come to you now because after kind of reliving this and thinking about this, I have realized that a lot of why I love what I do is because I felt so unimportant. I felt like I wasn't good enough to have friends. Like I wasn't worthy enough to have friends, to the point that I wanted to harm myself so people would care about me besides my mom. You know what I mean? Like, my mom was always there. But I thought, well, if I drank this bleach, like, you know, like it wasn't a suicidal thing, okay? It wasn't a suicidal thing. But if I drank this bleach, maybe she would talk to me. Maybe she would care about me. Maybe she would be worried. Or know that the things she told me were so mean, okay? I never did. I did never do anything like that. Luckily, like, my mom was always, like, my mom was a hoverer. She was always, like, into what was going on. She didn't know. Like I said, I didn't tell her, but she knew, like, when things weren't great. And so she would hover. So I honestly never, like, tried to self-inflict pain. But if she wouldn't have been, I honestly think I probably would have tried it. Just, again, not to, like, take my own life or anything like that, but just so that they would worry, like, or feel bad. Like, oh, I told her that mean thing, or I laughed at her, or I whatever, you know. So I've realized now that that point in my life is why I'm so passionate about what I do. Because I know that there are so many people out there that feel the way that I do, whether they feel like they don't have friends or anybody that understands what they're going through, or that they're not worthy of having friends, or, you know what I mean? They just don't love themselves. That's actually probably more it than anything now that I'm thinking about it. But that they don't love themselves, and like there's something that they want. And I will tell you, makeup is not going to give you love, but when you feel good about yourself, it's a lot easier to love yourself too. So that is kind of what I'm going to say is my story. That is, you know, I mean, I went on, graduated high school. I got a really good job at I worked for Dell Computers for 10 years. Had a great job. It's where I met my best friend. I excelled there. I had friends there. Like, things got good. And they outsourced my job. And so I lost my job. And I came home, and my best friend made me, I'm not even kidding you guys, my best friend made me do this. I did not want to do makeup, you guys. I didn't even know how to do makeup. You know, my mom had taught me, and I had, like, the colors and stuff I used were great, so I never, like, tried. I never was interested, and I felt like I just, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just added enough to get a little bit of attention. And my best friend came to me and she's like, you're going to do this. And I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I don't know how to do makeup. I don't know how to do videos. I don't know how to do, you know, I don't care about makeup. I don't own brushes, nothing. And she made me. And thank God, because I love what I do. And I love, like, I feel like sometimes I can feel when I'm doing stuff, I can feel when people have that, you know what I mean? Like, not saying that it's like suicidal, but when they don't love themselves, because I've been there. I lived there for probably a good 10 years growing up, if not more. You know, and then another part of it too is like the comparison. You know, where you compare yourself to other people, and that's so hard. Like, you look and you're like, I wish that I was like them. I wish I was like them. You guys, my best friend in high school was the most popular girl in school. I love her to death. She's got the biggest heart ever. And I remember one time too in high school, it was it was a friend of hers, and her boyfriend had to stay behind for some reason. We were going to senior tea, so I was a senior in high school, and we had to go pick him up at a track meet. That's what it was. So we had to go pick up her boyfriend at the track meet, so we were going to be late to go to the senior tea. And I remember this kid told me, why don't you just go pick Chuck up, and Delia can come with us. And I was like, you don't want me to come? And they were like, Delia, you need to come. And, like, thank God I have the best, you know, I grew up, you guys, my best friend in high school was amazing, and she was the most popular girl for a reason, because she was awesome. But I just remember that day, like, it took me back. I remember I had to, like, take a deep breath, take a big gulp. I called my husband, and I was like, can you believe that he said this? And anyway, so that's why I do what I do. That is my story. You know, my life is so blessed, you guys. There's so many other awful things, but I will tell you, those 10 years of what felt like torture from other people were real, and I closed that door. I closed it because I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I will tell you, that's probably why I'm as, like, I talk to people, and I'm so, like, if I, like, message you, I'm like, how are you doing? Like, how are things? Like, I just feel like I can sense when something's not right sometimes. And so I reach out and I'm like, okay, tell me what's going on. Like, let me be there. And it's because nobody did that for me. Nobody did that, like, friend-wise. My parents did, you know, all that stuff. But nobody friend-wise reached out to me like that. So it was pretty... Now I look back, and I mean, although it's, like, painful to know that I lived, and, like, I look, and my oldest son is that age. My oldest son's in 5th grade. And I know that he gets bullied a little bit too, for his weight. And that's something that that's a struggle I have now, is my weight. I've always been a little bit heavier, and now, like, I'm at the heaviest I've ever been, so I have that insecurity. But it's opened the doors, because my son is the age that I was when things were at their worst, right? When things were, or actually when it started to get bad, and then it got worse, and it got worse, and it got worse, to the point that I thought about harming myself. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous to ever get to that point. And I never told nobody knew that. Nobody, not a single soul, not even my husband knows that still. He's downstairs. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead. Let me turn it over. If you have any questions, like, I'm totally down. Hi, Cassandra. Okay, cool. There really wasn't too much that happened. Hi, Lizzie Lou Who. Aw, thank you so much. I know. I know. Oh, now they're all coming in, like, super, you prayed? No, it wasn't ever you, Heidi. No, but Heidi, like, growing up, it's funny, you guys, because I know that there's, like, I have, like, so many friends now that I didn't talk to in high school or junior high, and now they're, like, some of my best friends. Like, you're not. I was bullied, too. I'm sorry that you are so upset. Oh, thank you. Thank you guys so much. Now I am a freaking rock star. That's right. I miss my aunt, you guys. And I'm wearing pajama pants because I couldn't, my pants were too tight. They were hurting my stomach. But, anyway, I just want you guys to know, like, it's fine. It's fine to feel like you're not a weirdo, right? You're not a weirdo if you feel alone. Like, say something. There's so many people out there, and more than anything, like, probably my big takeaway I hope everybody gets from this is, when you have kids that are, you know, 11 to 15, you know, even through high school, but junior high, you guys, don't shut that door for even a second. Don't think, go with that gut. If you have nieces, nephews, like my aunt saved me. And all she did was email me. I know. I found 2 dimes today from her. So if anybody doesn't know whether or not this is true, I don't care. Before my aunt passed away, we had a conversation about a friend of my husband's who said that her dad sends her dimes from heaven. And I was telling her about it because we knew she was going to pass, and she was okay to talk about it. So it was just something that we kind of talked about. And I told her, I said, well, you can send me dimes, but if you would send me $50 bills, that would be great. And she was like, yeah, we'll see. She's like, I've never been that lucky in my life, so I don't know that I would be after. But today I found 2. Once I decided. So, yeah, I was like challenged to say this, and it was weird because I didn't feel like I had a story. And then all of a sudden, like a ton of bricks. Here it was. And then I got anxiety, and I do not get anxiety to go live. I used to. I don't anymore. Like, I've done it so much that it's not a big deal. I mean, I'm sitting in my bedroom by myself talking on my phone. But it hit me all day, and I've been in like a weird mood, and it just, I think, like, I kind of relived it all day. I relived all the mean things that people said and did. I mean, it got really bad. It got really bad. I mean, to the point that I changed schools. It was very, very, very difficult. And I think, like, my aunt maybe talked to my mom about, like, hey, it's okay. You know, I had to drive a mile to go catch the bus to go to the other school. And I don't know if she did, but she knew to an extent that I was being bullied a little bit and that I was eating lunch alone in the library. So, I don't know. But she was there every day, and she emailed me. And sometimes it's little stuff like that, guys. Like, if you have somebody that, like, sends you a text message, just respond back. You know what I mean? You may think, oh, they're just a kid. Like, they don't care about their old aunt. Just text them back. Because it could be, like, the saving grace. But, so anyway, that's me. That's my story. That's why I figured out today. That's why I love what I do. That's why it's so important to me. That's why I value friendship so much. Because I didn't ever have that. I didn't ever have that growing up. So, I feel a lot better. I was so stressed out. I was like, ooh, we're going to layer on the waterproof mascara. But, alrighty, guys. Well, I am going to jump off of here. A bunch of you have already sent me messages. Thank you guys so much. You're so sweet. I will get back to them. Feel free to comment still if you're watching the replay, like, woohoo, you made it through the whole thing, watching me cry, which I'm a crybaby, but I don't cry on here very much, though. That's kind of weird, right? It's kind of weird, because I am a crybaby. Like, I legit will cry. Like, I cannot go to a funeral of a stranger, because I will just, like, be devastated. Like, I cannot watch, if you ever want to watch me cry uncontrollably, turn on The Land Before Time. I can't do it. It's like emotionally, like the idea of watching that movie kills me. Oh, really, Sherry? That's cool. Thank you, Deanna. You're so sweet. Alright, guys. Well, I've got to go pack up stuff because I got customers waiting for stuff, and I'm going to go tuck my babies in. So, well, they're not going to go to bed. I'm going to go talk to them, and they're going to be up all night because it's Saturday. So, hi, Sarah. So anyway, alright, I love you all. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you have any questions or anything like that, message me. Mwah. I'll be back to makeup tomorrow. Bye, guys.